Have you ever gone to your doctor for a simple checkup, feeling perfectly fine, maybe a little tired, maybe getting up once or twice at night to use the bathroom and thought, that's just part of getting older? What if I told you that right now,
This
even
is
as you
why we
watch
are
this,
seeing
your
the
kidneys could be
symptoms.
quietly
Oh
failing
my.
without a single pain, without a single symptom, and you wouldn't even know it until it's almost too late? I'm Dr. Johnny, and what I'm about to share with you could literally save your life or the life of someone you love. Because kidney failure doesn't announce itself with pain, it steals your health in silence. By the time most people feel something is wrong, more than half of their kidney function is already gone. Let that sink in. Half of it, gone. Every single day, your kidneys filter over 200 liters of fluid. That's the equivalent of 400 water bottles. They balance your minerals, your blood pressure, your pH, even your hormones. They're not just filters, they're life regulators. Yet every year, millions of people unknowingly sabotage these organs through 10 everyday habits that seem harmless, until one day they aren't. Imagine this: you feel fine on Monday, you get a routine blood test on Tuesday, and by Friday your doctor calls to say your kidneys are only working at 30%. No pain, no warning, just a silent collapse. And once your filtration rate drops below that point, the road back becomes steeper and darker with every passing month. But here's the good news. This doesn't have to be your story. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal the 10 hidden habits that quietly destroy your kidneys and the proven steps you can take right now to reverse the damage, protect your filtration system, and extend your health span for years to come. Because when it comes to your kidneys, ignorance isn't bliss, it's fatal. So listen closely, because the first silent killer might be sitting right on your breakfast plate. You know, that comforting slice of bread, that cold soda, or that healthy glass of orange juice you grab in the morning. For most people, it feels innocent, a quick boost to start the day. But for your kidneys, it's like setting off a tiny explosion every single time. Let me tell you about one of my patients, Robert. He was in his 50s, never overweight, exercised sometimes, and thought diabetes was something that happened to other people. Yet when he came to me, his kidney filtration rate had dropped by nearly 40%. No pain, no warning, just fatigue and slightly foamy urine he'd ignored for months. When we looked closer, the culprit wasn't alcohol or medication, it was his daily ritual of white bread, pasta, and fruit juice. Here's what happens inside your body each time you eat refined carbs. Bread, pasta, pastries, sugary drinks, your blood sugar spikes fast. Those sharp rises damage the glomeruli, the microscopic filters inside your kidneys. Over time, those filters scar, leak proteins, and lose the ability to clean your blood efficiently. Studies show that even short-term spikes above 110 mg/dl after meals begin this microdamage. And most Americans hit 130 to 150 mg/dl daily without realizing it. Now here's the hopeful part: you can stop that damage today. Replace processed carbs with real food, non-starchy vegetables, leafy greens, wild-caught fish, pasture-raised meats. Pair your meals with healthy fats like olive oil, butter, or coconut oil to keep blood sugar stable. And if you truly want to know how your body reacts, check it. Use a glucometer or a continuous glucose monitor, CGM, about 60 minutes after eating. Your target fasting between 80 and 90 mg/dl and post-meal under 110. Stay there consistently and your kidneys can begin to heal. Have you ever checked your blood sugar after eating? Most people never do, and that's exactly why so many wake up one day with silent kidney damage. Type "I didn't know" in the comments if this surprised you, because that's how awareness begins. But only knowing this isn't enough, because there's another hidden villain that quietly destroys your kidneys even faster, and it's probably sitting in your pantry right now. Remember how we talked about sugar silently scarring your kidneys? Well, the next threat hides in plain sight, not in the sweetness, but in the convenience. Processed foods. The stuff that fills 90% of grocery aisles and saves you 5 minutes of cooking, but can cost you decades of kidney health. Let me give you a story. Maria, a 47-year-old teacher, came to me confused. She didn't drink soda, she rarely ate dessert, yet her kidney function was dropping every year. When we reviewed her diet, it wasn't sugar. It was the healthy, low-fat turkey slices, the flavored oatmeal packets, and the dried fruit she snacked on between classes. Sounds harmless, right? Except all of them were packed with phosphate additives, invisible chemicals that make food look fresh and taste rich while silently overloading the kidneys. Here's the science behind it. Phosphates are used in deli meats, soft drinks, snack bars, and even in baked goods to preserve color and texture. The body absorbs nearly 100% of these synthetic phosphates compared to only about 40–60% from natural sources. That extra load forces your kidneys to work overtime, leaching calcium from your bones and accelerating kidney calcification, a process that ages your filtration system years faster than it should. And it doesn't stop there. Processed foods are stripped of real nutrients and flooded with preservatives, conditioners, and artificial flavorings that increase inflammation, another blow to your kidneys' delicate microvessels. Every bite may taste convenient, but inside it's creating chemical chaos. So what's the fix? Start with one simple change. Cook more at home. Choose foods that expire quickly because that's how you know they're alive. Replace those deli meats and flavored snacks with real protein and fresh vegetables. Use natural fats, olive oil, butter, or tallow to add flavor instead of chemical seasoning. And most importantly, read the ingredient list. If it sounds like a chemistry exam, your kidneys won't like it. Be honest, how many processed foods sneak into your week? Leave a comment below, because once you start tracking them, you'll be shocked how many carry hidden phosphates. But only knowing this isn't enough, because there's another everyday habit that quietly chokes the kidneys from the inside out. And it's something millions of people take every single day without even thinking twice. We just talked about how processed foods quietly overload your kidneys. But what if I told you the next danger doesn't come from your plate? It comes from your medicine cabinet painkillers. Those little pills millions of people pop for headaches, back pain, or sore joints thinking they're harmless. Ibuprofen, naproxen, diclofenac, over-the-counter drugs that promise fast relief. But inside your body, they're silently cutting off the very lifeline your kidneys depend on, blood flow. Let me share a real case. David, a 55-year-old construction worker, came to me with mild back pain and fatigue. Nothing serious, he thought. He'd been taking ibuprofen every day for almost a year to keep going. His blood tests, however, told a different story. His creatinine had doubled, and his filtration rate had dropped to stage 3 chronic kidney disease. The painkiller that made him feel strong was ironically the same thing that weakened his kidneys beyond repair. Here's the science in NSAID's work by blocking prostaglandins. Those are chemicals that widen blood vessels. When you suppress them, the arteries feeding your kidneys constrict. Less blood means less oxygen and fewer nutrients reaching the delicate glomeruli, those tiny filters that do all the cleansing. Over time, it's like starving your kidneys while asking them to run a marathon. Combine that with dehydration, maybe from coffee heat, or just not drinking enough water, and the damage accelerates exponentially. But there's a smarter way to fight inflammation. Nature gives us tools that heal instead of harm. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, reduces inflammation by balancing the immune response, not blocking it. Omega-3 fatty acids from salmon sardines or fish oil repair cell membranes and improve circulation. And magnesium, found in leafy greens and quality electrolyte mixes, helps muscles and blood vessels relax naturally. These aren't quick fixes. They're long-term protectors. So before you reach for that painkiller, again ask yourself, is a few hours of relief worth years of dialysis? Comment below if this surprised you, because this one small habit change could save your kidney's life. But only knowing this isn't enough, because there's another hidden danger that creeps in when your body runs dry, and it can quietly thicken your blood, raise your pressure, and make every filter in your kidneys work twice as hard. We've seen how painkillers can quietly choke your kidneys by cutting off blood flow. But what if I told you there's something even more common? Something you might be doing every single day that has the exact same effect. It's not a pill. It's simply not drinking enough water. Most people don't think of dehydration as dangerous. I drink coffee, tea, maybe some soda. That counts, right? No, it doesn't. Those drinks pull water out of your cells instead of hydrating them. And when your body runs low on water, your blood becomes thicker, like syrup running through a narrow straw. Your kidneys, which rely on smooth flow to filter toxins, now have to push harder through that dense, sticky river. Over time, that strain reduces your filtration rate and increases the risk of kidney stones, high blood pressure, and chronic fatigue. I remember a patient named Ellen, a nurse, always busy, always skipping water because she didn't have time to run to the restroom. Her job was to care for others, yet she neglected the simplest care for herself. By the time she came in, her lab results showed concentrated blood and early-stage kidney damage, all from years of mild dehydration. No alcohol, no junk food, just not enough water. Here's the science: when blood volume drops, your kidneys receive less oxygen and fewer nutrients. Waste products build up and mineral crystals start forming. That's why dehydration is one of the leading triggers for kidney stones, those sharp, agonizing pebbles that form when toxins and minerals concentrate beyond what the kidneys can handle. So how much should you drink? A good rule of thumb: half your body weight in ounces of clean filtered water per day. If you work outdoors or sweat, often add electrolytes, but choose ones that balance sodium, potassium, and magnesium, not just plain salt. And here's a pro tip: if you're thirsty, you're already behind. Think about this: you wash your car with clean water, not coffee or soda, right? Then why would you rinse your body's most important filters with anything else? Have you been drinking enough today? Drop an emoji in the comments if this is your wake-up call. But only knowing this isn't enough, because even if you drink perfectly and eat well, there's one silent force that can still destroy your kidneys from the inside out, and it starts the moment your blood pressure begins to rise. We just talked about how dehydration thickens your blood and makes your kidneys work harder. But what happens when that pressure inside your blood vessels stays high, day after day, year after year? It's like turning your faucet up full blast 24 hours a day and expecting the pipes not to burst. Eventually, something gives. High blood pressure, hypertension, is one of the most silent yet deadly kidney killers out there. Most people don't feel it, they don't see it, and they don't check it often enough. By the time they do, the damage is already deep inside. The small blood vessels inside your kidneys, the glomeruli, are like delicate webs. They're built to filter gently, not to withstand constant pounding pressure. When that pressure rises above 140 millimeters of mercury, it starts eroding those microscopic filters. Once you hit 160 and beyond, you're in danger territory. Microvessels rupture, scar tissue forms, infiltration capacity collapses. Let me share a story that still stays with me. A patient named Tom, early 60s, retired firefighter. He lived his whole life putting out fires, but there was one fire he didn't notice: the one burning inside his arteries. He told me, "Doc, I've always been tough. I never felt a thing." But when his lab results came back, his kidney function had dropped by nearly half. No pain, no warning. Just quiet, relentless pressure eating away at his filters for years. Now here's the science behind it. Hypertension doesn't just strain your kidneys, it also reduces oxygen delivery. Remember, your kidneys get a lot of blood flow, but they actually use very little of it. That means even small changes in pressure or oxygen can cause huge changes in performance. Chronic high pressure causes the inner walls of those vessels to stiffen and harden, what we call vascular fibrosis. When that happens, your kidneys can't regulate fluid, electrolytes, or toxins properly. So how do we fight it? Start by tackling the root: insulin resistance. It's one of the biggest hidden drivers of high blood pressure. When your body becomes resistant to insulin, it traps sodium, thickens blood, and raises tension in your arteries. Add chronic stress and poor sleep to the mix, and you've got the perfect storm. That's why lowering blood pressure isn't just about pills, it's about lifestyle. Deep breathing, reducing refined carbs, managing weight, getting sunlight, and keeping stress under control can do more than any quick fix. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you checked your blood pressure at home? If it's been a while, consider this your sign. Write your last reading in the comments. You might inspire someone else to check theirs too. But only knowing this isn't enough, because even if you manage your pressure perfectly, there's another sweet-tasting threat that's doing far more damage than salt ever could, and it's hiding in your morning coffee, your snack bars, and even in your so-called healthy smoothies. We've talked about pressure, that invisible force that cracks your kidney filters. But what if I told you there's something even more dangerous? Something that feels comforting, familiar, and even rewarding after a long day's sugar. Especially the hidden kind, the fructose and fruit juice syrups and energy snacks that promise vitality but slowly rob your kidneys of life. Let me tell you about Nancy, a 42-year-old nurse who swore she ate healthy. She'd replace soda with 100% natural juice snacked on granola bars and loved her morning-flavored coffee. But her blood tests told another story: elevated triglycerides, high uric acid, and early signs of fatty liver. Her kidneys were beginning to struggle, not because she was lazy or careless, but because fructose had been quietly flooding her system every single day. Here's what happens. Regular sugar table sugar is half glucose and half fructose. Glucose your body can use for energy. Fructose, however, gets processed almost entirely by your liver. Too much of it turns into fat, raises uric acid, and sparks inflammation throughout your bloodstream. Over time, those inflammatory molecules reach your kidneys and start narrowing the very blood vessels that keep them alive. That's why people with high sugar intake often develop not only diabetes, but also non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and chronic kidney impairment even before their blood sugar looks bad. Studies show that just 1 can of soda a day or a glass of fruit juice that looks innocent can raise uric acid levels by more than 20% within weeks. That rise alone increases your risk of kidney stones, hypertension, and filtration decline. Think about that one sweet drink can start a chain reaction that leads to lifelong damage. So what's the fix? Cut back on liquid sugar first. Ditch the juices and syrups. Choose whole fruits, especially berries, because they deliver fiber that slows absorption. If you crave sweetness, use a touch of stevia or monk fruit instead. And remember, the real energy boost comes not from sugar, but from balanced blood glucose, healthy fats, and hydration. When you stop chasing the sugar high, your kidneys can finally breathe again. Now be honest with me, how many sugary drinks or snacks sneak into your week? Drop your number in the comments. Awareness is the first step toward healing, but only knowing this isn't enough because there's another nutrient people fear for the wrong reason. One that your body actually needs, but in excess can quietly overload your kidneys with toxic waste. And it's not sugar, it's protein. We just talked about sugar, the sweet poison that inflames your kidneys from the inside out. But the next mistake often hides behind good intentions. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Eat more protein, it's healthy, it keeps you strong. And that's true until it isn't. Because too much of the wrong kind of protein can quietly overload your kidneys with toxic waste and turn healthy eating into a hidden threat. Let me tell you about Greg. He was 58, retired, and determined to get back in shape. He started eating lean chicken breast egg whites and protein shakes, no fat, no carbs, just pure protein. For a few months, he felt great, but soon he started feeling constantly thirsty, tired, and his lab results showed a sharp rise in bun blood, urea nitrogen, and a drop in eGFR, his kidney filtration rate. Greg thought he was fueling his muscles, but he was actually overloading his filters. Here's what happens when you eat large amounts of lean protein, especially without enough fat. Your body breaks it down into amino acids. The byproduct, urea and nitrogen. Those have to be filtered out through your kidneys. If your filtration rate is already below 60 milliliters per minute, that extra nitrogen becomes a heavy burden. Think of it like shoveling gravel into a filter already half clogged. The harder you push, the faster it fails. Now let's clear up one myth. Protein doesn't damage healthy kidneys. But if you already have early kidney impairment or even mild insulin resistance, too much protein, especially from lean low-fat sources like chicken breast or protein powder, forces your kidneys to work overtime. And if you're not adding fat, you're missing the natural energy buffer that eases that load. So what should you do? Balance your plate. Choose whole foods with their natural fats, eggs, salmon, sardines, grass-fed beef. Don't fear fat, it's your ally. Healthy fats slow digestion, reduce nitrogen waste, and help stabilize blood sugar. If your eGFR is under 60, aim for moderate protein, not high. Remember, quality matters more than quantity. One more thing, seeing protein in your urine doesn't mean protein caused the damage. It's simply a sign that damage already exists. Fix the root cause, not the symptom. Tell me this, have you ever gone high protein thinking it would make you healthier? Type yes in the comments if you've done it and you're not alone. Millions of people make that same mistake every day. But only knowing this isn't enough, because even if you fix your diet perfectly, there's still one massive reason people lose kidney function without realizing it. Not because of what they eat, but because they stop paying attention to the numbers that reveal the truth. We just talked about protein, how even the right food can become a burden if your kidneys are already struggling. But what if the real danger isn't what you're eating? It's what you're not watching. I'm talking about your blood tests, those little numbers that most people overlook until it's far too late. You see, kidney disease doesn't shout. It whispers through lab results long before you ever feel a thing. And if you don't know how to read those whispers, you could miss your only window to reverse the damage. Let me tell you about Susan. She was 50, healthy on the outside, loved her daily walks, ate home-cooked meals, and never missed her yearly checkup. One day her doctor mentioned her kidney function had dropped slightly, but there was no red flag on the report, so she brushed it off. A year later, that slight drop had turned into stage 3A chronic kidney disease, nearly half her filtering capacity gone. She didn't change a thing simply because no one told her what those numbers actually meant. Here's what you need to know. Your kidney filtration rate, called eGFR, tells you how well your kidneys are working. A healthy range is around 90 milliliters per minute or higher. Once it drops below 60, that's stage 3, and it means you've already lost about half your kidney function. But here's the catch. Most labs don't flag results until they fall below that number. That means you could be in decline for years while your report still looks normal. Another key number is BUN, blood urea nitrogen. When it rises, it means your kidneys aren't clearing waste efficiently. Combine that with a high creatinine level, and you've got an early warning system flashing red, but only if you know what to look for. That's why I tell my patients, track your trends, not just the flags. Compare your numbers from year to year. Don't settle for normal, aim for optimal. Because when it comes to your kidneys, a small slide today can become a steep drop tomorrow. When was your last blood test? Have you ever looked beyond the green check marks? Drop a comment if you plan to check your eGFR after this video. Awareness is power. But only knowing this isn't enough, because even if your numbers look perfect, there's one hidden enemy that can destroy your kidneys faster than any diet, and it doesn't come from food or medicine. It comes from your own mind and the stress that never stops. We've talked about blood tests, the quiet whispers that reveal your kidney's condition. But there's another killer that doesn't show up on a lab report. It's invisible, emotional, and it's something almost everyone watching this video is guilty of: chronic stress and poor sleep. Let's be honest, we live in a world that glorifies exhaustion. Hustle harder, sleep less, drink coffee, repeat. But here's the truth. When you rob your body of rest, you steal years of life from your kidneys. I once treated a patient named Karen. She was a business executive, always traveling, surviving on 4 hours of sleep fueled by caffeine and adrenaline. Her kidneys weren't failing because of bad diet or medication. They were failing because her stress hormones never turned off. Her body lived in fight or flight mode 24 hours a day. And that constant flood of cortisol, your main stress hormone, raises blood pressure, spikes blood sugar, and inflames your blood vessels. You might as well be aging your kidneys on fast forward. Here's what happens on a deeper level. Chronic stress activates your sympathetic nervous system. That's the one that prepares you for danger. When it stays on too long, blood vessels constrict, filtration slows, and inflammation rises. Pair that with poor sleep, less than 7 hours a night, and your kidneys lose their nightly repair window. Studies show that people who consistently sleep under 6 hours are 30 to 40% more likely to develop kidney disease compared to those who get enough rest. Now, the solution isn't about quitting your job or moving to a cabin in the woods. It's about recovery. Simple, daily recovery. Start with controlled breathing, 5 deep breaths, in 5 out for 1 minute. It resets your stress hormones. Add a short walk in sunlight. Turn off screens 30 minutes before bed. Small, consistent steps train your body to shift from fight to repair. You might think this sounds too simple to matter, but stress is the spark that ignites almost every chronic disease we face today. And when it comes to your kidneys, peace isn't just a feeling, it's medicine. So tell me honestly, when was the last time you woke up feeling truly rested? Type "need rest" in the comments if this hit home, because acknowledging it is the first step toward healing. But only knowing this isn't enough, because even if you fix your stress, eat clean, and rest well, there's still one final factor that decides whether your kidneys will fail or thrive, and it's the #1 root cause behind almost every case of kidney failure worldwide. And once you understand it, everything changes. We just talked about stress, that invisible force that wears down your kidneys day after day. But now we've reached the heart of the problem, the single factor that quietly fuels almost every case of kidney disease I've ever seen: insulin resistance. It's not just a blood sugar issue. It's a full body imbalance that poisons your filters from the inside out. Let me tell you about Michael. He was 54, an accountant, never diagnosed with diabetes, and proud of his normal blood tests. Yet his kidneys were deteriorating faster than we could explain. When we dug deeper, we found the truth. His fasting blood sugar looked fine, but his insulin levels were sky high. His body had to pump out massive doses of insulin just to keep sugar under control, and that invisible struggle was slowly destroying his kidneys. Here's what really happens. Insulin resistance makes your cells ignore insulin signal, so your pancreas keeps producing more. That excess insulin triggers inflammation, thickens artery walls, traps sodium, and raises blood pressure. Inside the kidneys, those constant surges cause the tiny blood vessels, the glomeruli, to swell and harden. Over time, they scar and lose their ability to filter. It's like turning your delicate filters into concrete. The worst part, it can take 10 to 15 years before your blood sugar even rises enough to show up on a test. By then, the damage is already deep. That's why I tell my patients, don't just measure glucose, measure A1C fasting insulin and calculate your HOMA-IR score. Those numbers reveal the truth long before disaster strikes. Now here's the good news: you can reverse insulin resistance. Cut the sugar, reduce refined carbs, eat more non-starchy vegetables, healthy fats, and moderate protein. Move your body daily. Even a 20-minute walk improves insulin sensitivity. Sleep well, manage stress, and stay hydrated. Every small habit you change is like lifting a weight off your kidneys. Ask yourself right now, are you fueling your body or feeding your disease? Comment "I choose health" if this message hits home, because commitment starts with awareness. Insulin resistance is the spark behind high blood pressure, inflammation, and kidney failure, but it's also the easiest fire to put out once you see it. And when you put it out, everything else begins to heal: your energy, your weight, your heart, your life. So here's my final message before we wrap this up. Your kidneys are not weak, they're resilient. They just need you to stop attacking them every day without realizing it. And if you take even one step today, one meal, one walk, one night of real sleep, you're already turning the tide. But only knowing this isn't enough, because understanding is just the first step. The real transformation happens when you act. In the next part, I'll show you how to protect and even restore your kidneys naturally starting today. Stay with me. Hey, before we wrap this up, I just want to remind you of something important. Your kidneys are not broken beyond repair. They're fighters. They've been protecting you quietly every day, even when you didn't realize you were hurting them. And the fact that you're still here listening means you care. And that's the first step toward healing. Start small. Drink clean water. Get enough sleep. Move a little more. Eat real food that doesn't come with a label full of chemicals. And most importantly, get your blood work checked and understand those numbers. Awareness is what turns survival into recovery. If you found this helpful, do me one favor: save this video so you can come back to it whenever you need a reminder, and subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell icon, because every week I share new doctor-backed insights to help you protect your kidneys and keep your body strong for years to come. Remember, healing doesn't start with perfection. It starts with awareness, consistency, and belief. Even one change today, one meal, one walk, one better night's sleep, can begin restoring what years of stress and bad habits have taken away. You've got this. I'm Dr. Johnny, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care of your kidneys, because when you protect them, you protect everything.